Just had a man pick me up for a date. He asked me if I was a man in the car. I said yes. This man turns around and takes me back home. Now, this is a very prime example of somewhat fragile masculinity, but also dishonesty. Not on my end, but on the end of the suitor. I met him last Friday at a club when I was out with my girlfriend. At some point, we duck off, we're talking, we're chatting, we're dancing, we're like really having a good time. We're throwing banter back and forth, we're being flirty, all these things. Mind you, I am flat chested as fuck. I am not a woman. I'm just a very beautiful man. Proceeds to kiss me, da 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 da, XYZ, right? Has been texting me every day since last Friday when I gave him my number. He proceeds to tell me in the car, I don't really know how to ask this, or, I really just don't know how to bring this up, but are you a man? And I looked at him and I was like, yes, I am. I'm just a very feminine man. He pulls over and he's like, I just want to sit over and just like kind of talk about this for a second. I'd never been in this position before, so I'm just like not really sure how to handle it. I had an inkling of a thought, but I didn't want to ask you and you be offended if you were not. However, it's just not something that I'm into particularly. And I think that's part of a bigger conversation as it relates to Black men being interested in just feminine energy, period. He proceeded to apologize and he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just like felt like I needed to get this off my chest and at least just ask. But if I'm being honest, I was just like, okay, yeah, like that's fine. Like no harm, no foul. Like it's all good. He's like, is it okay if I just, turn around and take you back home? I'm like, absolutely. Yes, please. We sat there in silence as he did a U-turn and literally dropped me back off. But it goes to show that sexuality truly is a spectrum. And while people may not be into whatever parts people have or whatever the case may be, people are just attracted to energy, period. Which is okay. That's totally fine. I completely respect that. I'm not one of those gays that are like, I'm going to go get the trade and do this, that, and the third. That's really not my vibe. And if you are, pop off queen, do your big one. But I guess my biggest problem is if you had an inkling of a thought or you felt any type of way, you should have quite literally just asked and been honest from the very beginning. Here, I spent an hour and a half getting ready for a date, not really into it, but like I was like open to, just seeing what happens, what would, transpire out of the whole situation. And yet, here we are. Now, this is a first for me. I've never had this happen to me before. This is something new to me. I'm not humbled in the slightest because I'm a bad bitch. Look at me. Like, hello. And I know this is not in vain. I know that God has a partner for me out in the world, wherever he may be. But that shit was crazy as fuck. And for my theys, my girls, my dolls out there in the world, y'all be safe out there. Truly just be safe. Because for a slight moment in time, I was actually kind of scared for a minute. But yeah, y'all, I don't know. Am I tripping? Y'all let me know what y'all think because I've quite literally never experienced anything like this before. Like, oh my God, I'm like kind of floored. But anyway, on to the next, babes. That's fine. To Mr. Sir, good luck to you. And yeah, I don't know, y'all. It's just so funny. I'm like literally just sitting here in silence, like, oh my God, like I need to like talk to someone about this. But anyway, okay, y'all let me know what y'all think. I don't know.
Maybe he really just didn't know that you were a man. This is so stupid. Imagine, you don't even have to imagine it. You're trying to say that this man's masculinity is fragile. He took you back home. You're still alive. Do you know how many trans don't make it back from this situation? And then you mentioned that he kissed you? The average man probably would have, things would have been bad with the average man. And the reason he probably didn't ask if you were a man, because what happens if a man asks if you are a man and then you're not? You're playing a dangerous game, and he probably just couldn't tell. This is so stupid. It's so stupid. These trans people, trans women, need to start being upfront and honest and start saying, hey, you are a biological male, because that's what you are. All right? To go on a whole rant talking about, I don't know, this is weird. This goes to show something with Black men. There was nothing fragile about this man's masculinity because he took you back home. He said this ain't something he into, and he took you back home. If you would have been up front in the situation, right, it probably would never even got that far. But to go on a whole story time, like the man was the problem. You're the problem. You trans women who do this be the problem. There are so many stories of a trans woman or trans person, whatever, right, who gets unalived or severely beaten playing around with fire like this. Like, are you kidding me? And then to try to go to the internet and then ask if you tripping. Yeah, you tripping. You are definitely tripping. You're living in delusion. Because if you think that he was wrong, what about yourself? Why you couldn't be real up front? Because I'm still thinking about the fact that he kissed you. Because I know I've heard of cases where a dude didn't know. Then he finds out. And yeah, that ends up bad. That ends up very bad. And the audacity for this person to be like, to my girlies, be careful out there. You need to be telling that to yourself. You should be telling that to yourself. You the one who need to be careful. You the one who need to be telling the truth up front. What in the heck? What in the HE double hockey sticks is this? Talking about you did all this to get ready for a date. And what you mean? I'm glad he asked. I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad this woman is alive. I'm sorry, not this woman. This biological male, okay? This trans woman is alive, playing around with this man like that. Y'all better start being careful. Like, this is not nothing to play around with. And then this person mentioned God. It can't be the God of the Bible. I'll just leave that there. It can't be the God of whatever God you talking about. It can't be the God of the Bible. All right. That sexuality is a spectrum. Okay, well, don't play with people. Why can't these people just be upfront and tell somebody the truth? Because I don't want nothing to happen to a trans person. If that's what you into, bro, that's what you into. That's what you into. If you want to be a trans woman and you want to find you a man and all this, whatever, I don't care. I'm just saying at the same time, bro, be careful, man, because a man's sexuality ain't nothing to play with. It's too many cases of people getting unalived for even doing something like this. Because this could have ended up very, very badly. All right? This could have ended up very badly. But for you to try to go to the internet and try to make this man or act like he was in the wrong, no, the only person that was in the wrong was you. He honestly probably just didn't know that you were a male. Come on. A lot of times nowadays, you really can't tell what the heck is what. Let's just keep it a bean. You can't tell. A lot of times, bro, you can't tell what's going on. You would think that you're looking at a woman, that's a whole man. You would think that you're looking at a man, that's a whole woman. Let's just keep it a bean. People getting deceived out here left and right, bro. Left and right. At this point, at some point, people going to start asking for birth certificates. People going to start asking for driver's like something. They're going to start asking for something. Like, hey, man, what were you born with? Right? Let me see a birth certificate or something like that. Because nowadays, you just cannot tell, bruh. So no, this guy was not in the wrong. Yeah, you tripping. And you could have kept this video to yourself. Over here trying to give other people warnings. Give yourself a warning. Give the trans community a warning. Because they the ones who need it. All right? If y'all keep doing this, you're going to keep ending up in bad situations. And then you say you were scared. You put yourself in that situation. You say you were scared for a moment. I bet you were. Why were you scared, though? Is it because you knew you should have been up front? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why this person was scared. because they knew that they should have been real upfront. Hey, you do know that I am a man, right? I was born a male, right? Why do y'all feel the need not to disclose this information? Just disclose the information. And everything should be all right. Before anything even go far. Before anything even go far. Before lips touch or anything like that. You need to say that you are a biological male, because that's what you are, bro. Okay? So in my opinion, shout out to the dude that took you home. Because if it had been anybody else, you probably would have ended up hurt or not even made it home. You know what I'm saying? So God was looking out for you. Shout out for him for being a gentleman, being a real one, and dropping you off. Okay? I'm so sick. Like this, I ain't gonna lie. This ticked me off. Because for her to try to say a problem with black men, how? How did black men get thrown into this? That's the man, what was wrong with this black man? How did black men get thrown into this conversation? But then it's the black man you dealing with, and the black man in here did nothing wrong. Now don't get it twisted now. Black men do a lot of messed up stuff. There's a lot of things that black men have to get, in order. We know that. But at the same time, in this particular situation, black men shouldn't have been thrown under the bus, and that man shouldn't have been thrown under the bus. You still alive. You not hurt. And you was able to go on TikTok and do a freaking story time asking if this man masculinity is fragile. Man, miss me with this nonsense, man. Miss me with this nonsense.